Part 7. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 61. Chapter 61. How dare they be so arrogant? Do you still remember that Mr. Mo was like this at the last meeting? Could it be that Mr. Mo is in love? How is this possible? Mr. Mo has never been interested in women. If he is in love, can he not show any signs of trouble? Asterisk. Outside the conference room, Mo Yesi finished answering Chiao Mianmian's call and called Wei Zheng. Mr. Mo. Mo Yesi pulled off the tie around his neck, turned around and walked towards the elevator entrance. You can help me host the next meeting. I have to go out for a while. What? Wei Zheng was stunned. How can a small assistant like him preside over such a high-level meeting? Also, Mr. Mo is having a great meeting. Why is he leaving all of a sudden? This is a very important meeting. Wei Zheng immediately chased after him. Mr. Mo, I can't do it. He mustered up the courage to say, the people sitting inside are all senior executives of the company. I'm holding a meeting for them. It's not good. Mo Yesi walked in a hurry. Walked to the elevator entrance and pressed down. I said yes, that's all. Stop talking nonsense. This is also one of your jobs. If you don't do it well, leave immediately. The elevator door opens. After saying these words, Mo Yesi walked in and closed the elevator door. Wei Zheng. Having been threatened with dismissal, he still dared to have any opinions. I don't dare to let out another fart. The world is big and the boss is the biggest. No matter how difficult or arduous the task is, he must complete it. Thinking about having to face so many high-level officials, Wei Zheng felt tremendous pressure. Why does he feel that Mr. Mo has become more and more willful in recent times? Leave early at work if you want to leave early, and leave an important meeting in the middle of the day as soon as you want. Obviously, he was not like this before. Asterisk. As soon as Chiao Mian made the bed, she heard a noise coming from downstairs. There was so much noise that several people in the dormitory ran out to take a look. She and Zhang Luli also went out. Looking downstairs, I saw a group of men who were dressed very socially and wanted to enter the girls' dormitory. The dormitory aunt stopped them from entering. The dormitory aunt is already over 50 years old, so she is naturally no match for those men. If you want to stop it, you can't. One of the men had an impatient look on his face, stepped forward and pushed her, directly pushing the dormitory aunt to the ground. Damn it, they went too far. This is a school, how dare they be so arrogant? Zhang Luli was furious. Chiao Mianmian's face also darkened and she pursed her lips. Shen Yuiyu actually brought these men to school. She is very brave. If this matter is investigated by the school, Shen Yuiyu will definitely be punished. Shen Yuiyu is also very clear about this. The reason why she dared to do this was that apart from the so-called rich, handsome brother, there must be other backers behind her. Otherwise, she would not dare to be so confident. Chiao Mian suddenly thought that she had not told anyone about her breakup with Suzy. But why did Shen Yuiyu and everyone else in the dormitory know? Lulu, let me ask you something. Chiao Mianmian's eyes darkened, and her eyes became colder. In my mind, I already have some guesses. What's the matter? Zhang Luli watched the group of social youths enter the girls' dormitory and was extremely anxious. Baby, where are the reinforcements you mentioned? Why haven't they arrived yet? Chiao Mian was silent for a moment and asked, who told you about Suzy and I breaking up? End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 62. Chapter 62. Kowtow to us immediately and apologize. What? Zhang Luli was stunned for a moment, and then said, you said this. It was Shen Yuiyu who said it? As soon as she returned to school, she told us about it very proudly, saying that you cheated on her someone else, So Mr. Su doesn't want you anymore. Chiao Mian, I didn't cheat. Shit. It was obviously that pair of scumbag men who cheated on her. Okay. Baby, of course I believe you. Zhang Luli frowned slightly. I don't know who you are yet. Shen Yui's mouth is really bad. She is deliberately trying to ruin your reputation. It was clear that Su Jikai fell in love with you at first sight and took the initiative to pursue him. Why did Shen Yui think that you stole her man? Chiao Mian pursed her lips and said nothing. She felt that it was not Shen Yui who did this, but someone else. It was impossible for Suzy to talk about their breakup everywhere, let alone tell Shen Yui about it. So, the only possibility is that Jiao Angzhen told her about the breakup. She deliberately revealed this matter to Shen Yui, and it is self-evident what her intentions were. Thinking of this, Chiao Mianmian's eyes became colder. Chao Angzhen. There were messy footsteps. Zhang Luli opened his eyes wide and said in panic, Mian, they are coming up. Chiao Mian slowly raised her head and saw Shen Yui and Zhao Wanting walking in front, followed by 7 or 8 young people from society. Shen Yui held her head and chin high, like a proud peacock, and slowly walked up to Chiao Mian. Chiao Mian, she said with a gloomy face, if you kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times now, and then go to the campus radio room to solemnly apologize to me, I might be able to forgive you this time. That's right, Zhao Wanting covered her nose and said bitterly, kowtow to us immediately and apologize. If you have a good attitude, for the sake of being in the same dormitory, we will spare you once. Otherwise, you just wait to be beaten. You two have gone too far. Zhang Luli said angrily, it's obviously you who bullied others first, why should Mian apologize to you? Zhang Luli, shut up. If you help Chiao Mian again, don't blame us for taking care of you too. You. Luoluo, this is none of your business. Chiao Mian stretched out her hand to pull Zhang Luli behind her, raised her head, and looked at the 2 extremely arrogant people with cold eyes, kneel down with you. I only kneel down to my parents and children. Heaven and earth, who do you think you are? You were the first to mess with me, and you asked for it when I taught you a lesson. Apologize, haha, you will never apologize in this life. You. Shen Yui was so angry that her face turned blue, she gritted her teeth and said, Chiao Mian, so you are not willing to apologize. Chiao Mian looked at her as if she were an idiot. Did I just say that? My hearing is so bad at a young age. Shen Yui, I suggest you go to the hospital as soon as possible, otherwise you won't even know why you are deaf. Something happened. Bitch. Because there was too much movement here, many people came out of their dormitories to watch the excitement. As soon as Chiao Mian finished what she just said, there was a burst of laughter around her. They are all laughing at Shen Yui. Shen Yui felt that she had lost face, so she raised her hand and wanted to slap Chiao Mian. Chiao Mian stood there without hiding, and just sneered, what, you want to fall again? The 4th update is completed today. Mr. Mo will come out tomorrow. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 63. Chapter 63. Are you Chiao Mian? Shen Yui had a fall before, and there was already a shadow in Shen Yui's heart. She didn't expect that Chiao Mian looked easy to bully, but she didn't expect that Chiao Mian was so strong in combat. Shen Yui hesitated with her hand raised in the air, and when she met Chiao Mian's cold eyes, she couldn't help but feel a trace of fear in her heart. Instinctively, I want to retreat. But when she thought of so many people around her looking at her, she gritted her teeth and cursed angrily, bitch. Then he hit Chiao Mian on the face. How could Chiao Mian let her get slapped? Shen Yui's slap was caught in mid-air before it fell. Ah, it hurts, bitch, let go. The moment her wrist was pinched, Shen Yui's face wrinkled up in pain, and she struggled hard, trying to free her hand. Chiao Mian has very strong hands. Even if a man tried to wrangle with her, he would not be able to beat her. Let alone a spoiled Shen Yuiyu. She just exerted a little force, and Shen Yui's face turned red from the pain, and she yelled regardless of her appearance, Chiao Mian, bitch, let me go. I'm going to fight with you. Oh fine. Chiao Mian nodded, pursed her lips and smiled, and really let go of her hand. However, as soon as she let go, Shen Yuiyu, who was still struggling, couldn't stand upright and fell to the ground in front of everyone. Kneel down and fall at Chiao Mian's feet. Chiao Mian couldn't hold back and laughed. She shook her head, sighed again, and then looked down at Shen Yuiyu. Hey, Shen Yuiyu, why are you giving me such a big gift? I can't bear it. The onlookers looked at Shen Yui's embarrassed look and burst into laughter again. Why is Shen Yuiyu so brave? She dares to provoke Chiao Mian. Isn't she afraid that Mr. Su will deal with her? I heard that Mr. Su and Chiao Mian broke up. What? My boyfriend finally broke up with this little devil Chiao Mian? Is the news reliable? Didn't Mr. Su like her very much? Why did they break up suddenly? I heard that Chiao Mian had an affair. She has a boyfriend as good as Mr. Su, and she still wants to cheat on him, thanks to Mr. Su for treating her so well. Does this woman have any conscience? A group of people started talking about each other word by word. Shen Yuiyu made a fool of herself in public. She was so angry that her nose and eyes were crooked. She gritted her teeth and roared at those social youths, why are you still standing there? Why don't you hurry up and deal with this bitch? Chiao Mian, you have gone too far. Zhao Wanting turned around, pretending to be extremely aggrieved, and said softly to a man beside her, Brother Duzi, you have seen it with your own eyes, right? Mian is really too much. You must help me and Yui vent our anger. The man named Duzi had a cigarette in his mouth, half-closed eyes, and looked at Chiao Mian with a gloomy and wanton look. Then, an evil smile curled up at the corner of his lips. Are you Chiao Mian? He asked with undisguised surprise and covetousness in his eyes, full of interest. The girl in front of her was dressed very ordinary, just like a normal student, but her face was so beautiful that it made people enchanted. His dark, soft, and bright eyes are brighter than the stars, and his facial features are so delicate that no flaws can be found. Especially the white and shiny skin, which is so tender that it looks like you can squeeze out water with just a pinch. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 64. Chapter 64. What a vixen. She has no makeup on her face, but she looks 100 times better than many women who wear exquisite makeup. Duzi has seen so many beauties, and all the women he has seen together are not as beautiful as the one in front of him. Moreover, he plays with women a lot. So it can be seen at a glance that Chiao Mian is not only beautiful, but also has a good figure. She is a beauty with a top-notch face and figure. Seeing such a beautiful woman standing in front of him, Duzi's soul was almost taken away. He decided right away that he wanted to get this beauty. The desire and ambition in Duzi's eyes were so obvious that Chiao Mian frowned, a trace of disgust flashed in his eyes, and said coldly, are you Shen Yui's god brother? Do you want to do this for her, taking it out? Duzi took the cigarette out of his mouth and smiled evilly. Yuiyu said you bullied her, is it true? Brother Duzi, you must help me teach this a lesson. Seeing someone standing up for her, Shen Yuiyu got up from the ground with an expression of resentment that she wanted to tear Chiao Mian to pieces. Chiao Mian was expressionless, so what if it is, what if it's not? Du Ziyi said nothing. His malicious eyes were staring at Jiao Mian. After looking at it for a while, he smiled and said, Yu and Ting Ting are both my sisters. You bullied them. I, the elder brother, cannot sit idly by and watch. Reason. But. He changed his words and the smile on his lips became more evil. You are all good friends who share the same dormitory. I guess there must be some misunderstanding, right? Brother Du Ziyi, you. Hearing what he said, the expressions of Shen Yuyu and Zhao Wanting suddenly changed. Looking at the look Du Ziyi looked at Jiao Mian, it was clearly the look a man would have when he was interested in a woman. The expressions of the two changed again, and they secretly cursed Jiao Mian over and over again. What a vixen! Seduce a man when you see him. Du Ziyi was obviously here to help them vent their anger, but now he was seduced by this little bitch. Shen Yuyu was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She said anxiously and angrily, Brother Du Ziyi, there is no misunderstanding. You have seen with your own eyes how she bullied me just now. You said you would help us, but you can't keep your words. However, at this moment, Du Ziyi had already developed a strong interest in Jiao Mian. How can I care about them? He ignored Shen Yuyu and stared directly at Jiao Mian. The intention in his eyes was obvious. Classmate Jiao, why don't we find a place to have a good chat? My name is Du Ziyi, and my father is the chairman of Shengui Group. Du Hai, I believe you have heard of this name. When Du Ziyi said this, he had the determination to win in his eyes. He saw that Jiao Mian was wearing ordinary clothes and thought that she must also come from an ordinary family. She would definitely not refuse if a rich second generation like him took the initiative to pursue her. This type of girl worships money the most. Chasing is accurate. Brother Du Ziyi, how could you do this? You said you would help us. Shen Yuyu and Zhao Wanting were so angry that they almost fainted. They did not expect that Du Ziyi would be confused by Jiao Mian. Du Ziyi looked at them impatiently and scolded in a cold voice, shut up. I didn't ask you to speak, so don't speak. After finishing speaking, he turned to look at Jiao Mian, raised his eyebrows and said, Classmate Jiao, why don't we have lunch together? What do you like to eat? I'll have someone make a reservation right away. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 65. Chapter 65, Smelly Girl, Don't Be So Shameless. Jiao Mian has seen many men like Du Ziyi. Before Su Ziyi, there were also many rich second generations who pursued her. She knew very well what these men were thinking. Just because she looks beautiful, she becomes possessive. Once she catches her, she will be thrown away after playing with her for a while. No one in this group of people is sincere. She is disgusted with such casual men. He didn't give Du Ziyi a good look and said coldly, sorry, I don't have time. Also, I'm not interested in eating with you. Being rejected in public, the expression on Du Ziyi's face was a bit unpleasant. His eyes darkened, and then he spoke again, his voice becoming colder, you don't know about Shengui Group. Jiao Mian smiled coldly and spread her hands, I don't know. What's wrong, is it famous? I haven't heard of it anyway. Being denied face again, Du Ziyi's face darkened. For a rich second generation like him, the group of friends he makes usually support him in every way, and he can easily get women when he pursues them. This is the first time that a woman dares to deny him face and reject him again and again. His face was filled with anger, and he threatened with a sullen expression, you stinky girl, don't be so shameless. I'll ask you again, are you going? Here, Shen Yuyu and Zhao Wanting saw that Du Ziyi was angry, and they finally felt comfortable. Jiao Mian, this little bitch, is really shameless. While Du Ziyi is angry, she must be treated well. The two of them added fuel to the fire and said, Jiao Mian, It's a blessing you earned in your previous life that brother Duzi can like you. Who are you to dare to reject him? Brother Duzi, this kind of ignorant woman should be taught a lesson. Zhang Luli saw that the situation was not good at the moment. The reinforcements Jiao Mian mentioned were not seen at all. She was afraid that Jiao Mian would suffer a loss soon, so after hesitating again and again, she quietly took out her mobile phone and sent a text message to Suzy. Zhang Luli, Mian is in trouble by some gangsters. Mr. Su, can you come over and rescue her? Zhang Luli felt that although Jiao Mian and Suzy had broken up, but after so many years of their relationship, it was impossible for Suzy to ignore her. Now, the only person who can help her is Suzy. After the message was sent, Suzy replied instantly, "What's going on? Where is Mian now?" Zhang Luli, schoolgirls' dormitory, Mr. Su, come over quickly. Otherwise Mian will be bullied. Suzy, I'm near the school. I'll come right away. Seeing Suzy's reply, Zhang Luli breathed a sigh of relief. It's near the school, so Suzy will be here soon. Just after Zhang Luli finished sending the message, he saw Duzi coming up to arrest him angrily. "Smelly bitch, give you some color, you really take yourself seriously. You have to leave today if you don't want to, you have to force me to use force, right? I've seen a lot of people like you. Aren't they all for sale? I have plenty of money. 1 million a night is not enough. If it's not enough, I need more money." Du Zizi swept the floor and revealed his true colors. He grabbed Jiao Mian's hand, took out a wad of bills from his wallet, and smashed it into her face. While smashing it, he cursed fiercely, "Pretending to be your mother has been ruined by others. If you have some sense, follow me obediently, otherwise, I want you to look good." Mian. Let go of Mian. Zhang Luli stepped forward to help, but several other men stepped forward and grabbed her. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 66. Chapter 66. Wow, who are those people? These people are all gangsters in society. Seeing that Zhang Luli was pretty, a few people smiled evilly and said, "This girl is pretty good looking. Brother Du, why don't you take her away with you so that the brothers can have fun too?" Jiao Mian's expression changed suddenly after seeing Zhang Luli being arrested. Raised his hand and slapped Du Ziyi hard. "You bunch of rubbish, let go of Luoluo." Snapped. Du Ziyi was caught off guard and received a slap in the face, and his face turned extremely ugly for a moment. His eyes were sinister, and he gritted his teeth and said, "You bitch, you dare to hit me. I have to kill you today." As he spoke, he grabbed Jiao Mian's hair and pulled her head toward the wall. Jiao Mian bit his hand painfully. Du Ziyi screamed out in pain and let go of his hand to throw her away. Men are very strong. Jiao Mian's strength is already very strong among girls. But after being thrown away by Du Ziyi, he couldn't help but take 2 steps back, and then fell to the ground. Du Ziyi looked at the teeth marks on the back of his hand, his eyes became more sinister, and he actually took out a knife from his bag. There were many students watching. No one dared to come up to help. After seeing Du Ziyi take out the knife, Jiao Mian's expression finally changed. Shen Yuiyu and Zhao Wanting, however, had a proud and relieved smile on their faces. "Bitch, you deserve it. Brother Du Ziyi, teach this a lesson, let him run rampant. It's best to scratch her face and make her look so charming, so that she can seduce men everywhere in the future." Du Ziyi bitterly ordered her men, "Catch this stinky bitch. I'm going to kill her." Several of his men rolled up their sleeves and walked towards Jiao Mian fiercely. Before he could reach her, Suddenly, a burst of rapid footsteps sounded behind him. The students who were watching at the same time exclaimed, "Wow, who are those people? Are they from Shen Yuiyu's side? They don't look alike." Du Ziyi and Shen Yuiyu turned their heads when they heard the noise. They were stunned for a moment when they saw a group of tall and burly muscular men in black uniforms walking towards them. There are about a dozen muscular men. Everyone is above 185 centimeters tall, and their physique and temperament can be seen as having been trained. Moreover, it's very powerful. It is definitely not comparable to the people on their side. Before a few people could realize why this group of men in black appeared here, they heard the leader of the men in black say in a deep voice, "The young master has given orders, and no one will be spared." As soon as the voice fell, a group of people rushed over quickly. The few gangsters who were going to catch Jiao Mian were the first to be controlled, and they heard several miserable screams, with the faint sound of broken bones. In the blink of an eye, the three gangsters started wailing continuously. Fell to the ground. The other gangsters saw this and rushed to help. But he didn't even have a chance to take action, and was beaten to the ground by the man in black. There were a few more sounds of bones breaking. The people who fell on the ground howled like pigs, and several of them fainted from the pain. In an instant, without even seeing how the men in black took action, the gang of gangsters brought by Du Ziyi all fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, the students who were watching were all dumbfounded, and were so frightened that they did not dare to take a breath. These people are here to help Jiao Mian? Completed update today. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 67. Chapter 67, just a minor character. Didn't it say that Jiao Mian and Suziyi had broken up? Could it be that Suziyi was nostalgic and still had feelings for her, so he found someone to help her regardless of his past grudges? Zhang Luli also thought it was the person Suziyi called over. She patted her chest and breathed a sigh of relief. She felt that Suziyi was not too bad. At least at this moment, because of his timely help, a disaster was avoided. Otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. She walked to Jiao Mian, stretched out her hand to help her up, and looked at her worriedly. Mian, are you okay?" Jiao Mian shook her head. Across from each other, Shen Yuiyu, Du Ziyi and the others looked shocked. Looking at the few people who were still lying on the ground wailing, Shen Yuiyu turned pale with fright, and her lips kept trembling. "You, who are you?" No one expected that this group of people would actually come to help Jiao Mian and the others. Shen Yuiyu was even more surprised. Didn't Jiao Angzhen tell her that Suziyi and Jiao Mian had broken up, allowing her to deal with Jiao Mian as she pleased? What's going on with this group of people? Other than Suziyi, can Jiao Mian rely on anyone else? Could it be that Jiao Angzhen was lying to her? For a time, Shen Yuiyu's face turned blue and white alternately, looking extremely ugly. A man in black glanced at her and said coldly, "Are you Miss Jiao's classmate? Is it you who brought this group of people to school to cause trouble for Miss Jiao?" I am." "You, what do you want?" After seeing the methods of these bodyguards, Shen Yuiyu was frightened and took a step back towards Du Ziyi. Du Ziyi was also frightened by this sudden change, but he held on, made a fierce look, gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Damn, where did you come from? Those who dare to touch me. You know who I am? I'm not interested in knowing who you are. But if you dare to cause trouble for Miss Jiao, you are seeking death." After speaking, the person who spoke waved his hand and ordered several other bodyguards, "Break all the legs of the men, and take the lead on the women walk. How dare you? I am the only son of the chairman of Shengui Group. If you dare to touch me, my father will not let you go." Shengui Group, the head bodyguard sneered disdainfully, "Just a lowly little character. Someone who doesn't know the heights of heaven and earth will break your legs right here today, and your dad won't even dare to let go." Shengui Group is a well-known medium-sized enterprise in Yuncheng. Speaking of which, he is also somewhat famous. But compared with Mr. Mo, he is not even qualified to wipe Mr. Mo's feet. This kind of arrogant and domineering fool who doesn't even know how much he weighs has no idea what kind of disaster his stupidity has brought to his family. Just breaking his legs would give him an advantage. Mr. Mo is not such a kind person. I'm afraid that Shengui Group will disappear from Yuncheng soon. 2 bodyguards came forward to arrest him. He waved the dagger in his hand and said fiercely, "Get out of here, or I'll be rude. You dare to touch me, I want you to." Du Ziyi's cursing voice stopped abruptly. The next second, it turned into a howling like a killing pig. "Ah, my legs, my legs." The bodyguard easily took the knife from his hand and caught him. Then he kicked him on the knee. Du Ziyi's face turned as pale as a ghost in an instant. With a pop sound, he knelt down on the ground, holding his legs and wailing in pain. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 68. Chapter 68. You vicious woman. He was rolling on the ground in pain, and kept cursing, "You sons of bitches, I'm going to kill you, kill you." Just after he finished cursing, he was also kicked on the other leg. This time, I fainted from the pain. Seeing this scene, Shen Yuiyu was so frightened that her legs weakened and she could no longer stand still. When the bodyguards went to catch her, she had no strength at all. Her face was full of fear, and she kept pleading, "No, don't break my legs, no." Zhao Wanting was also frightened and collapsed to the ground, her face pale. They are still students. Even though he is usually a bit arrogant and domineering, he has never seen such a violent scene. Now seeing that Du Zedu had his legs broken and fainted, they were so frightened that they burst into tears and trembled all over. "Miss Jiao, are these 2 your classmates? What do you want us to do with them, Miss Jiao?" The leading bodyguard walked up to Jiao Mian and bowed to her with an extremely respectful attitude. Mian, we were wrong, please forgive us." Mian, considering that we are in the same dormitory, please forgive us this time." Thinking of the fear of breaking their legs, the 2 of them trembled even more. They kept begging Jiao Mian for mercy, crying until they had tears and runny noses flowed out. At this moment, the 2 of them looked as embarrassed as they were. Jiao Mian looked at them coldly. Mian Zhang Luli said angrily, "You can't forgive them easily. They just went too far. If Suzy hadn't provided quick support, I don't know what the result would have been." Thinking of this, Zhang Luli looked around, still a little confused. "Where is Suzy? Why didn't you see anyone else? Could it be that it was inconvenient for him to come forward, so he didn't come?" "Lolo, don't worry, I'm not the virgin." Jiao Mian gave her a reassuring look, then turned her head to look at Shen Yuiyu and Zhao Wanting, who were crying bitterly. She thought about it and said, "Just follow the normal procedures and do whatever you want. Shen Yuiyu and the others will be severely punished by the school for their behavior." For a college student who is already in his 3rd year and is about to graduate in 1 year, there is no punishment more serious than dropping out of school. Even though doing this would ruin someone's future, since they were unkind in the first place, don't blame her for being unjust. The bodyguard nodded clearly, "Yes, I understand what Miss Jiao means." After speaking, he waved his hand and said, "Take them away first." Shen Yuiyu and the others panicked when they heard what Jiao Mian said. Mian, we really know our mistake. Please give us a chance to correct it." "Yes, we have been good friends for 3 years in the same dormitory, can't you forgive us just once?" Jiao Mian walked up to the 2 of them step by step. Looking at them condescendingly, he said coldly, word by word, "You are wrong. You and I have never been good friends. Also, I will only forgive those who are sincerely repentant. People like you who don't mean what you say, I won't give it another chance." Seeing that it was useless to beg her, the two people who had just said that they would change their ways in the future immediately changed their faces and said, "Chiao Mian Mian, you are such a vicious woman. How can you do this to a friend who has lived in the same dormitory with you for 3 years, you are so cold-blooded and inhumane, and you will not end up well in the future. No wonder Mr. Su broke up with you, no man would like a woman like you." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 69. Chapter 69. Didn't he go to work? Chiao Mian Mian, you are a bitch. Listening to those curse words, Chiao Mian Mian's face was expressionless. Zhang Luli was a little worried about her, afraid that those words would irritate her. After all, she had just broken up with Suzy. After thinking about it, Zhang Luli was about to speak out to comfort her, but he heard an exclamation and excited screams from the crowd of people watching. Wow, who is that man? He's so handsome. He's so tall, I guess he's 188 centimeters tall, and he has a great figure. Wearing a black shirt really makes him feel abstinent. Holy shit, he's so handsome, isn't he? I feel like our school idol is not as good looking as him. Zhang Luli was stunned and followed the gazes of the others. When she saw the slender and upright black figure not far in front of her, she was stunned for a moment and her eyes widened in shock. Hearing the movement, Chiao Mian Mian also turned her head and looked over. At this sight, she was stunned. The man who was slowly walking towards her had a face as handsome as a god, with a noble and distinguished temperament, and deep and sharp eyebrows. His pure black shirt and trousers highlighted his cold ascetic aura. Intense. He seems to have a sparkle about him, and he can attract everyone's attention in an instant. Beside him, Zhang Luli's eyes widened. He grabbed her arm excitedly and said to her excitedly, "Damn, Mian Mian, did you see it? There is a super handsome guy in front of me." Chiao Mian Mian opened her mouth, but before she could say a word, she heard Zhang Luli scream even more excitedly, "Ah, Mian Mian, he is coming towards us. I feel like he is looking at us. No, no, I'm so excited. Tell me, this is not my imagination. That handsome guy is really looking at us, right?" Chiao Mian Mian. Looking at her good sister who was almost going crazy with excitement, the corner of her mouth twitched and she was a little speechless. Zhang Luli is a very handsome guy. He is the kind of senior handsome guy who will whistle at a handsome guy when he sees him when he walks on the street. The degree of her is determined by the other person's appearance. This is the first time Chiao Mian Mian has seen her become so infatuated. I was so excited that I almost lost my mind. But Zhang Luli was not the only one who lost his mind at the scene. Other girls also screamed, and in an instant, they all turned into nymphs. The girls behind Chiao Mian Mian were extremely excited, and their screams of suppressed excitement and joy never stopped. "He is coming towards us. Is he here to find us? Ah, I feel like I'm about to suffocate. He's so handsome. He is not a student of our school, he looks quite mature in his clothes." The appearance of the man made the girls on this floor excited. The only person who looks relatively normal and doesn't have too many mood swings is Chiao Mian Mian. But she was just calm on the surface. The moment she saw Mo Yesi, she felt a turmoil in her heart. How did he appear here? Didn't he go to work? Suddenly seeing him at school or in a girl's dormitory, Chiao Mian Mian felt in a trance, with an unreal feeling. She stared blankly as Mo Yesi approached her step by step. The distance between the two is getting closer and closer. "Ah, Mian Mian, he's here, I'm so nervous. Do you think we should take the initiative to say hello to him later?" But, what should I say? Zhang Luli was obsessed with nymphomaniacs, with a face that was both shy and expectant. Expression. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 70. Chapter 70. This handsome guy actually came to see Chiao Mian Mian. Chiao Mian Mian. She is also struggling with this issue. In a moment, do you want to take the initiative to say hello to Mo Yesi? Or, pretending not to recognize him? She thought about it carefully and felt that if she chose the latter, he would definitely be angry. Before I could figure out what to do, I felt a shadow falling in front of my eyes. Looking up, she saw a face with deep outlines and handsome features. The man's dark and cold eyes stared at her for a few seconds, then he stretched out his hand and placed his long, cool fingers on her cheek. His voice was cold, and seemed to contain a hint of anger. What's wrong here? Are you injured? Chiao Mian Mian opened her mouth. Before she could say anything, the man's eyes turned cold again. He grabbed one of her arms and said coldly, "There's an injury here too." His handsome face was instantly covered with a layer of frost, and when he spoke again, his deep voice seemed to be wrapped in ice, making people shudder. Who caused these wounds on your body? Men have a strong aura. That angry question made everyone present feel a little afraid. Even the girls who were obsessed with him just now were frightened by the cold air emanating from his body and dared not speak anymore. Chiao Mian Mian was also a little frightened. She bit her lip and was silent for a few seconds before saying weakly, "I'm fine, just some minor injuries." Mo Yesi pursed his lips, glared at her, stretched out his hands and hugged her sideways. There was a sound of gasping. Is there any mistake? This handsome guy actually came to see Chiao Mian Mian. Holy crap, this can't be Chiao Mian Mian's new boyfriend, right? She just broke up with Suzy, and she immediately found another one so handsome. So, the group of people just now were not called by Suzy, but by this man. It is said that Chiao Mian Mian was dumped by Suzy because of cheating. Is this the man she cheated on? To be honest, in terms of appearance and temperament, this man is indeed much better than Suzy. The two of them are not on the same level at all. Seeing Mo Yesi holding Chiao Mian Mian in his arms like a princess, everyone became uneasy. There was a lively discussion. Zhang Luli was even more stunned. He looked at his good sisters, then at Mo Yesi, with a face full of astonishment and said, "Baby, what is going on? How come this super handsome guy and her baby are hugging each other?" Being hugged by Mo Yesi like a princess in public, Chiao Mian Mian blushed like a cooked shrimp. She struggled twice before the man tightened his grip around her waist. He looked down at her and scolded her softly, "Don't move. Do you want me to kiss you in public again?" Chiao Mian Mian. It's a shame that others still say that he is some kind of abstinent handsome guy, but he doesn't live up to his reputation at all. He was ascetic from head to toe. From time to time he tries to take advantage of her. He is clearly a gangster. Mo Yesi, let me down. Chiao Mian Mian's cheeks were hot. She stretched out her hand to lightly beat his chest, and said with embarrassment and annoyance, "So many people are watching, what are you doing?" "So what if someone is watching?" Mo Yesi disagreed and lowered his voice. The low and voice made Chiao Mian Mian's ears tingle. "You are my wife. If I don't hug you, who will I hug? But, I can walk by myself." End of this chapter.